Can you hear me?
Ding, how are you doing? Yes, I can hear you.
Good. So sorry. I was talking to a friend on the phone and then it's like, oh my God, it's already 3. Let me just let me set up the sound. Give me 1 second. What should I use? Zoom. Okay. Let me just make sure, like, because
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, I think.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So what's this Spotify sign and recording in
Oh my
progress?
God. It's nothing. It's just a neon sign. It's behind my door. It's just a neon sign.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do. It's not actually connected to anything that's being recorded.
Okay. Okay. Because I think it's the logo is that of Spotify.
I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
my dog.
It's all right. Bring him if you want.
You see, is the light is also really weird. Okay. Okay, I think I'm good to go. Yes,
Okay, perfect.
go ahead.
So tell me
Mhm.
about this logo at your back. It's outline. It's not the colored logo of Spotify. So what's the story behind it?
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me just bring my dog.
Yeah, yeah, bring him, bring him.
Come on. He's a
Oh my
he's a
God.
Shiba Inu.
Oh,
He's
ah,
he's really big. He actually has a
yes.
he has a face that's bigger than my face. Okay,
He looks like
he's leaving.
Hachiko. You do you know Hachiko?
Yes, actually, many people have mentioned it's a movie, right, about a Akita.
Yeah.
Yes, many people said he looks just like that dog, but
Yeah. So
he's smaller, but he's
you haven't seen that movie?
yeah. I haven't. I should. When I
Oh,
first had this dog, many people have told me I should watch it.
no, no, no. You should watch at least 5 times. I mean, you will watch
Really,
it once, and then
I'm
you can.
scared. Yeah, I'm scared of like dog related movie. I think it might make me cry, and I don't want
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna have a very
you know what
deep,
I'm saying?
but it's gonna have a very deep impact on. I mean, I had a deep. I like dog movies. I was sobbing and weeping during Molly and Me in the theater, like everybody else. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. However, when I went to Japan, actually saw,
Oh.
yeah, Hachiko's statue over there in Shibuya.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
So he is the sign of punctuality, basically.
Interesting. I'm so sorry. My dog is really upset every time I'm on Zoom with someone.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's like literally like looking at me and barking. He just feel like when I'm on Zoom, he know because there was a phase in my life I'm on Zoom a lot, and he just feel like, why is this back? He know I'm talking to someone else
Okay. So
that he cannot bite.
he's craving your attention, I guess.
Yes, so he has the thing. But anyway, I
Yeah.
hope the barking is not too loud. But
Yeah.
there's a dog statue in Central Park too.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know. I think it's might be a husky, but it
Okay.
looks also really similar to my dog.
I think Hachiko was also husky, I think.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. In the movie, his name is Hachi, but I think he was Alaskan. I think, yeah, Huskies are Alaskan, I think. So probably was husky as well. But he is considered as a sign of punctuality. And people meet there, they give time. For example, when I was in Japan, I did not have a cell phone, and I had met a friend in Istanbul, and she resided in Tokyo. When she saw my pictures that I'm in Tokyo, she said, "Okay, let's meet up." And I did not have a cell phone, so she said, "Just let's meet at Hachiko's statue," and we met there. Yeah, I mean, do you know the story behind it, Hachiko? No.
No, I think I kind of blinded out for
Right.
the moment. I don't know. I'm like
Yeah.
a little bit scared of
Yeah. Yeah.
sentimental movie about animals. You know what I mean? It's like it's something you know it's gonna make you cry, and you're
Mm.
like, I don't know. For me, if I know something's gonna make me cry, I'm gonna avoid it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's especially
Yeah.
in comedy and in improv, where you're there to spread joy all the time and have a fun and good time. But at the same time, it's really deep in the sense that in one liner, I can tell you, if you know the spoiler alert, and that Richard Gere was a professor, and the dog used to pick him every day from the train station. And one day, Richard Gere died, and he continued to go there every day until he died, until the dog died. He did not know that Richard Gere died, and the professor died, and he used to continuously wait that someday he's going to come. So it's a great story of honor, basically. And I think Alaskan breed is known for honor, because most dogs, unlike cats, are very
I think dogs are really different from cats.
yeah. I'm a cats person, so I am used to of insults and ignorance and selfishness of cats. They don't really care who you are, just the opposite of dogs. They just give you a very cold shoulder.
Thing.
They are into self.
My Yeah, my dog is a Shiba Inu, so it's a Japanese breed.
Oh,
They're actually they're really cat-like.
oh,
They're
okay.
like sometimes they're cat, yeah, sometimes they're dog. And I'm a former cat person. I actually had a cat before I met my husband. My husband is a dog person.
Oh,
I
okay.
was a cat person.
Okay.
So it's almost like that's why we landed on this dog who is also a cat, and he has a lot of cat behavior.
So my
He
wife was
literally would, yeah.
so my wife was a cat person, and she was quite intent.
They're a cat family.
Yeah, so before we had kids, she was very keen on having cats, so that we could
Kids?
yeah, parenting. And since could not take cats to planes or malls or movies, and we still wanted someone to bring us back together after every fight, so we had kids then. So it was a learning curve for us, from pets to kids. It was a transition. So tell me about your very fascinating personality as an artist, and doing loads of things, and coincidentally they all match to my interests as well: music and comedy and improv. So tell me, and also you're into design and writing as well, which also are part of my professional background, so to say. So tell me a little bit an overview of how you started, and what you did, and where are you going?
I actually design and illustration is my background. Like that's what I do for like over a decade. That's I went to art school in Maryland. So I majored in illustration, and I took a lot of design and advertising class at School of Visual Arts in New York. In between graduate school, I went to graduate school in Maryland. And yeah, so I was basically in the world of graphic design. I was a digital designer for e-commerce and I do editorial illustration for magazines, newspapers. I worked for New York Times a couple times, and it just like I had a very and illustration based career, and I still I don't know if I still have it after the pandemic. It was so funny. But anyway, that was what I've been doing before the pandemic. That's what I used to stay in this country as an artist. That's what I applied my artist visa with, a graphic artist.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's what is.
my background is also, I started as a copywriter, but then I transitioned into graphic design, and then did some 3D animations, then studied film at New York Film Academy in Los Angeles as well. But then around 2012, I transitioned into UX design from graphic design. I was designing film posters and all these things, and had extensive, like, in and out. You mentioned New York Times and other ad agencies. I also have similar ad agency related experience. I, in fact, had an ad agency in Dubai as well for a couple of years. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, in 2012, I transitioned into UX design. Then I did this Figma and XD, and then did some courses with Google and California Institute of Arts. And then also last year I made an app called U2Go, productivity based app. Then I made a SaaS of the same app. Now I'm working on organ donation platform app, which will be released probably first week of 2025. Yeah, so that's my overlap in the advertising and graphic design. Okay, now proceed.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think I know the graphic design advertising word pretty well. I feel like that has been the language I speak most fluently. Just work with, but I'm always in a position of like I'm the brought on contractor. I've been in meetings with teams from all kinds of company, all kinds of ad agency, just Zoom meeting. I'm the brought on person who's contributing illustration. And it's so cool that you start doing UX design since 2012, because that's a really early time to jump in, because now like I still know people who are trying to get in, and it's a new word. It's like AI is here. I don't even know, but yeah, I think around that time is when I first got out of graduate school. I keep considered UI UX design as my plan B, my backup. Not if that there's anything wrong with it, but like I knew that's where you should be, because that's what's needed the most and get paid the best. But I just never had an opportunity to actually learn how to do it.
It's very
And then
simple.
somehow
If you are a graphic design background, then it's very simple. Because
I actually, yeah, my graphic design background is not very solid. Like I never loved font and all layout. I tried to learn everything,
okay,
how to do layout, how to do editorial, how to use InDesign, but I always loved illustration more. And I think I was just lucky enough that I just didn't UI UX, even though I believed I have to learn it in order to actually make a living, but somehow illustration just pay the bill. I had a job as a digital designer for like a backpack company. So I was designing newsletters, email newsletters. I was designing website, but it was less about coding. It was more about just like they have like a, and it's funny how now I actually design my own website, but I use what I learned at my job. But it's just like it was like more like layout. It's like there's a third party engine that helps me to, I only need to deal with the image, and I think I would design the layout in Photoshop and someone would slice it and then turn it into website. So
so
I was
mine is a little
yeah.
opposite, in the sense that I was always envious of the fine arts, sketching and drawing, because that was my favorite subject when I was growing up and studying. But somehow I was pushed into technical drawing, which I did not like, geometry and all those things. And but
uh,
then when I stepped into graphic design, in those days we used to draw on paper the layout first, everything, typography, typefaces, and placement and layout and a color scheme and positioning, all those things, iconography, logos. So I always But then I, started designing directly on computers, which was considered a sin in those days. Yeah, you could never, you had to first draw and then get it approved from the art director, and then, do that, import it on and in many cases, we used to even scan those, layouts and then just replace them.
I'll show you this in person one day, but this is like my sketchbook.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like I
I
did this
want-
for like my book project, but like I enjoy drawing like how do I enjoy drawing like really detailed like drawing. But when you say that, but I kind of like I'm in a really awkward place where I love draw like analogly,
Mhm.
but when I finish my drawing, I have to turn them into vector and then color them. So meaning like I love the organic feeling of analog drawing, but then I don't feel confident to put a finishing touch on paper. I have to manipulate everything
Right.
digitally. I think it's a sin of like the generation of people like me going through our school. There's so many access to software, and then I was never trained analogically from beginning to finish, so I cannot finish a painting. I cannot.
I think I think you
I
are
freak out. Yeah.
I think you are utilizing both worlds, because you nail the core idea on paper, and then you accentuate or stylize on digital, which is right now we are living in a world where there are templates everywhere, and you cannot do anything. And that's what I tell my daughter as well, that you should only even myself, I want to learn sketching from YouTube, if I get time, and your sketchbook really inspired me, and I will start watching more YouTube sketching videos.
My sketchbook, like, it didn't start like that. I started using pencil and then I switched into this brand. It's called Repidography. It's like, where is my camera?
Oh,
It's
okay.
like this brand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so annoying because you have to fill your own ink, but it just looks like those micro pen, like black micro pen, but you have to fill your own ink. So if you don't draw for a while, it dries out. So it's
Like the
crazy,
good old
but
days.
yeah, I like it because every time it dries out, it just reminds me I haven't been drawing for a while, and I have to go through the hustle to clean because it's like a waterproof ink, so I have to clean everything out, and then I have to restart over. But and then also because this is not pencil, so I don't have an eraser.
Mhm.
I do have a correction, those like white things you put on paper. I do have that, but I kind of force myself to just draw
Mhm.
without changing too much. And I did this in the pandemic, and it just somehow I actually guilty. I want to go back to it because it's
Yeah.
so
Therapeutic.
therapeutic.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So what's your star
So
sign?
hard. Yeah. What?
What's your star sign? I connect. I just said therapeutic, and you said therapeutic as well. So what's your star sign?
Is that part of your interview routine? I'm a Pisces.
Pisces. Oh, okay. I am a Sagittarian, and they are totally opposite, but in the sense that they are both creatively adventurous, and right to the point. They jump to the point, and okay. So
Know
tell me.
anything about astrology? Yeah.
I know a lot, so maybe another time. So tell me, so the books that you have are illustration related books, or you have written those books? What kind of books have you published?
I think I have my name on two books.
Mhm.
If if you search my name on Amazon, you will find I have a page. But the first book, I only did the illustration is a recipe book, dedicated to this TV show called The Good Place. Have you
Okay.
heard of that show? Yeah,
No.
so that was the first book I did. like completely. It just like the publisher find me because the Good Place, it's like a comedy TV show, comedy sitcom, but it's about like afterlife, and it was just such a weird show. And but then it's just like a lot of joke related to food, and that's kind of my artwork was revolving around at the time, still is. It's just like I'm doing comedy in person now. But so the publisher kind of reached out to me, asked me if I want to do it. And I turned them down because I was like, this is a lot of work and I don't think the pay is that well. I don't want to do it. And then they came back to me. They're like, we think you're the only person who can do this now, because I'm also just like, it's such a niche, it's food related humor.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But I never thought about this is like a but because of that, because I didn't even know the TV show, but then they're like really talking me into doing it. And I was just like, I just have one request. I need my name on the cover and on the Amazon listing. Because sometimes people just bury the illustrator of the book.
Right.
That's the reality of publishing. But long story short, yeah, because of that, I have to watch the TV show The Good Place. It's work. And I was like, whoa, what is this? I love this TV show. I was like, what
You
is
just told me the premise, and I really love the premise about, especially about afterlife and connecting it with the, Good Place. I got to check it out.
that TV show actually accidentally got me into comedy because
Oh,
I became a huge fan.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I became a huge
So,
fan of Michael Schur, and he's the showrunner of the TV show. And all of a sudden, because like one of my book can show you. So this is like the soft cover of the book. I'm peeling it off, like, so this is a soft cover, but you can see it's just like
beautiful.
it's TV set. I drew like the entire TV set.
That's
Like
nice.
they have a film studio, I think in LA, and that was The Good Place. It's where after you die, if you did good, that's where you ended up. It's a little town. And my job was just to draw that town I obviously drew a lot of other things, but my main job is for the cover is just to research what the town looks like and recreate it as a book cover. And during the process, I just got fascinated about the creating of a TV show. I was like, oh my God, it's like this is world building. And then I studied all the characters and I studied a lot of those. It's a really interesting show. I highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best written TV show out there. There's only 4 seasons.
Okay.
It's a comedy show, but it will brought you to tears. At least the last season, it was so great.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a really weird way, this book kind of inspired me and opened my eyes to the world of TV and comedy. And I think I just growed a little, is that called a seed or a bug? Got bite by the bug or grew a seed, whatever that means. But I just was like, what is this thing called comedy? Before that, I've never seen, because I'm Chinese. I didn't grow up here, so I've never watched Seinfeld. I've seen Friends. I've seen Six and City, but I've never watched Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm. But then that was like the first show. I think Michael Schur has created some other, Parks and Recreation. I think he's involved in that. And there's some other shows. But anyway.
Where did you grow up?
Yes, I grew up in China, mainland.
Okay, so mainland China. So I grew up in Pakistan, and my teacher, my main teacher in school, he was from China. And when I went
He taught you in Pakistan.
in Pakistan, yes, and he could speak better Urdu than me.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I went to Africa back in 2012. there's just Chinese everywhere, all around the world. Like you can go to the farthest, you're gonna find Chinese there. Like I'm kind of proud. Like it was like insane. But yeah, but when I was in Africa, the Chinese I met was actually, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but they're Taiwanese.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the difference. I don't exactly know,
Yeah.
but it's just like, yeah,
Right.
it just seems like some countries,
Same, of course.
it's
Hong
based on
Kong,
different
China,
countries.
Taiwan,
They
same
have
thing.
different.
Yeah. How it's
I
also
don't understand. I'm not political, but yeah, but it's just like it depends on which government is doing business with the country.
right. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
It
So
was really interesting. It was really
Africa is
interesting. Yeah.
Africa is going to be probably the next mini hub of China, because they're probably making a direct road between China and Africa. That's what I heard. Any huge investment.
And
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not going to talk more about it, but I've noticed. I don't know. I feel like everybody should go to Africa
Yeah.
once in their lifetime. I was
Yeah,
like, you will see.
I've been
You
to
will see what's
Africa.
going on.
I've been to
Yeah.
Africa.
No. I know you. You definitely has traveled, has seen places, because it shows. It shows that you have experience and like what I'm saying is just like I also notice a pattern if like I'm at a dinner table with a bunch of people. If I actually had a really good time, at least half of the people have traveled and lived in Europe or from another part of the
Yeah.
world. But if like the whole table is everybody just grew up in America, stayed in America,
Yeah,
it's usually just less interesting. I'm
that's correct.
sorry, it's just true.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are not
Yeah.
layers into it. That's not multidimensional. It's kind of, a little homogeneous, but also monotonous at the same time. But I really like China in the sense that Pakistanis are so much welcome over there. They don't even the street vendors, they don't even take money from you once they know that you're from Pakistan. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And I went to the Great Wall, and there was no ATM over there, and there was this family who paid for my fare. And I said, okay, when we went back to the city, I paid them, and they said, no, you don't need to pay. I said, okay, at least have dinner with me. I said, no, it's okay. You're from Pakistan. I said, what?
Very
Yeah,
interesting, because
yeah.
the place I'm from, I've never met someone from Pakistan, but I actually had a friend when I was in Baltimore. He was from Pakistan, and we had great connection.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I do think on in the news and or whatever, I think China mainland has been portrayed as a place it's not very true.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
vice versa,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, for example, if you are standing today in Shanghai, you cannot tell whether it is Berlin or whether it is Shanghai. It's, so advanced and so diverse, I would say, that you cannot tell. And it's good and bad. Good in the sense that, there is huge progress and against, contrary to the image that is projected. But bad in the sense that I wanted to, just like in Japan, I wanted to look for the native or the authentic Japan or China that I had in my mind. Anyway, so tell me, you transitioned to comedy from Good Things, Good Place.
Good place. Yeah, it was not direct. I think it was more like inspiration, and I just started to think about it. Oh, like what if I can work for a TV show and that kind of thought, but I didn't think too much. So this book, I did this book in 2019, and literally like after I actually got married around the same time the book's deadline was.
Mhm.
So actually, after I got married, I stayed up all week to
Okay.
turning this book, which is
So,
ironic. But then
hang
the
on, yeah,
pandemic happened.
yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely had a thing for comedy slowly growing, but then the pandemic happened.
Mhm.
Didn't really have time to be like, oh, what does that mean? But then the pandemic happened, and my husband actually works in the food, the restaurant industry.
Mhm.
He's culinary trained, and I'm just adjacent to the wine cooking, service, hospitality industry, all the nice restaurants in New York. But you know, they all closed during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, I just started working on my second book because I was kind of believe that I have to get a book deal in order to whatever. It's like I thought the world is ending. I must get a book deal, and there was more to that story.
Yeah.
And the reason why I eventually got into comedy is like I forgot about it. I was working on my book. My second book is also about food, but towards the end of it, I just feel like the second book took me 2 years to complete. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo in an imaginary food related wonderland. And I just feel like that's kind of the illustration I showed you. I drew all of as a research for my book. And after that, I just felt like I've drawn everything I wanted to draw. Like I'm done.
Okay.
It's just
Yes.
like I did everything that I wanted to do in illustration. I don't want to draw anymore.
Okay. That's good.
These are like it's a weird thing. And then towards the end, I got a job from Disney. They had a movie. It's called Turning Red. So I did a job for them to make a poster for their internet promotion among some other artists. So in order to do that job, I have to watch the movie before it's released. So I have to sign an NDA. I cannot watch it with anyone. They literally like not your family, nobody. You have to watch it on your own.
Right.
And I did. And then that movie was about a controlling mother kind of prevent the kid to pursue a creative life or whatever. I think the director said. The director actually have the same from the same city that I grew up, but I think she immigrated to Canada early on, but it's the same city. And so we have similar brand of mother. And after I watched that show, I had a mental breakdown. I don't know, just like a lot of childhood memory came back and it
Wow.
was so hard, but then I cannot talk about it because I signed an
I know.
NDA.
I know.
I
So it's not
cannot talk
released.
about it until
So it's not released.
yeah,
Is it released or not?
it's released like a month later. It's called Turning Red. It's like the first Asian director directed and based on Asian community show. It's about an Asian girl's story in puberty.
Okay.
But it was so weird because it's like something I lived
Right.
myself, and it was really triggering and traumatizing. And my husband is like, not, but it just all of a sudden the idea just like, why don't you take a stand-up comedy class? I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what is stand-up comedy.
Great.
I was like, people just talk on stage. I was like, why? And I took a class, and I think that's what kicked me into the comedy world in general. But that was 2022. And I think back then I just thought this is, I don't know why, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'll give a shot because I really want to talk. It's almost like you have this like heavy feeling in your heart, and if you don't express it, it's gonna eat you alive.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And that's yeah, and then that's how, and also there's other things happened as like kind of being an Asian American artist. I felt really media. I had some interaction with the media as an artist, and it was really difficult for me to just brand myself as who I am. It's like they wanted you to be a certain stereotype. I understand it now. I studied how this
Okay.
publicity works, and understand why they need me to be certain way. They need a person like that. But that was not who I am. So I had a lot of things that I want to express, and then I got into stand-up comedy, and then
What
it
about,
was really weird.
what about improv?
What?
Where did improv come in?
I'm so sorry we haven't started on improv. No, so improv, I started doing improv officially actually this year.
Okay.
I did a little bit into after I did stand up, but I first get into improv because somebody told me that improv is going to help you do act out in stand-up
Yes.
comedy, and that's how I got in. But the first improv class I took, I didn't like it. I think that the teacher didn't like me, if I can actually say that. She kept telling me to stop. Like
Okay.
it was crazy. Whatever I do, she just says stop and then corrects me.
Okay.
And I literally cannot. I dropped. I
Okay.
dropped out just because it makes me so uncomfortable. I was like, please do not, you can't tell me to stop. This is really bad for anyone's creative
Right.
like exploration. But then I think this year, opportunity, someone recommended me to check out UCB comedy. I've heard about UCB before, but I don't know too much about it. And then I think when I first looking into it, maybe back when I was doing stand-up,
Mhm.
they're closed. I was like, okay, it does not exist anymore. And then coincidentally, they're back this year. So I think in the summer is when I first get involved in improv, and I have no idea what I was doing.
But it's good for
But I
branding.
think
The purpose that you took up comedy for, it's great. Improv is great for that. It's great for communication.
yeah, it's really interesting because doing stand-up is about you. You're the center of the universe, and it's very ego focused. And I met a lot of stand-up comedian. Not all of them are great people.
Absolutely. So tell me then, you're
Yeah,
studying music as well. How did music come in?
extend the time. Feel free. I'm sorry it took a while
It's all
to
right.
get
It's all
into
right.
the
We have
focus.
3 more minutes to wrap up
Yeah.
because I left. I mean, I felt saturated in music and then came towards comedy and now trying my hand towards improv. So tell me how music came in.
Amy was kind of also an accident. I did try a little bit music when I was in art school. I
Mhm.
took an electronic music class. It was tell me how to use a synthesizer, but it was way too complicated. It's like I don't even know anything about music, and they're just teaching you how to use like the analog synthesizer. I had a lot of fun. I made some really weird track at the end, but then it was just elective I took in art school, and I didn't think too much about it, but I know I loved it. I kind of figured I did a performance back in art school. I just loved it. And over the years I did some stupid was garage band. I just use I don't know music theory. I played the piano growing up.
Mhm.
I love singing karaoke, but all like I never know how to do music composition. But when I was in art school, my music teacher for the elective class, he's like, "You're actually a great composer." I was like, "Whatever that means, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have time for music. I'm too busy with everything that's going on in my
You were
life."
asking me about the bass
Then
guitar, so definitely
yeah,
you know piano.
I'm so excited to dive into that.
Yeah.
But okay, let me see time. But long story short, I think I took a singing class during the summer, like in August. There was like little break in between my previous improv class and the new improv class, so I had 4 weeks time. I just took a singing class. I don't know why. I just wanted to try it.
Yes.
Just it was just like a natural progression. And then after that, I was like, holy shit! I was like, I really love singing.
Oh,
I
that's
was like, I'm scared, like how much, because I have like a weird relationship with my mom. My mom loves singing, so I was like, then I hate singing
oh,
because
right.
we're different. We're very
Yeah.
different women.
Yeah.
But then I realized I love singing. I just have blocked myself mentally from singing, from music, and then actually I was encouraged to apply for a singing program, and then that program didn't proceed for different reasons. They decided to postpone, and I was like, but I'm really really to learn. I wanted to learn something, and I randomly
Mhm.
signed up to a program that's about electronic music composition, music theory, and how to use Ableton. And
Mhm.
I just went, and I was like, oh, this is actually what's been missing in my life. And I am a composer, and the thing I tried to use GarageBand to do all those years is just music arrangement. I just didn't know that's what I was doing, and I didn't understand what's chord progression, what's a bass line, and how does it work. I just nobody taught me. But now I'm like, hey, but I already know, but I just didn't know them systematically or theoretically or as a
So I think,
catalog
yeah,
or theory.
I,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's all multi-dimensions, multifacets of your expressions, and it's great talking to you. I think time is up, but I want to congratulate you that you are successful in spreading joy and enjoyment and fun and it was great talking to you. It's always great connecting with you at
Much. Yes.
mics and music venues and comedy, and I would like to learn few